welcome to Listen Breathe. It is Alyssa here today, and I want to share with you a resource that I've been using from the Daily Grace Company. And as you know, we've talked a lot about the Daily Grace Company. We both love it. We use it a lot. They have super great Christian resources, beautiful resources for very good, reasonable prices. And it's really helped us a lot in our devotional time. This resource has helped me specifically in my prayer time. And so what it is the Daily Grace Prayer Calendar. So last year, this was a new thing that they put out. And I'm so thankful they decided to make one for 2022 as well. So this is 2021. I have used this all year. I have filled it in. I have loved it. It's been super awesome. It's helped me to focus a lot better on my prayer time, to be able to remember things that people tell me, because sometimes that's hard. I ask people, like, is there something I can pray for you about? And then sometimes I'll just forget about it. But this makes it nice because it has, spots. I can write it down in a list. And then this is the 2022 prayer calendar. I bought it a few weeks ago. Super excited about it, and obviously I haven't started using it yet, but they're set up pretty much the same. And I'm going to show you guys how it's set up and how I use it. So this is the prayer calendars. Like I said, I have 2 of them now. This one was last year's or this year's, but almost done now. So as you can see, it is pretty much completely filled in. There are beautiful books. That's the first thing I noticed and loved about it when I got it, is that they're just so pretty, just like the Bible studies. But whether you buy one of these or make it your own, I love how they have it set up. Now, I'm going to show you using the new one, because the one that's filled in, it has personal prayer requests and all of that already done. So using the new one, I believe it's set up exactly the same as the other one, just with new pictures, new fonts, new color scheme, that sort of thing. But you open it up and it has a full calendar of the year, which is super helpful as a reference. In mine, this past year, I did not write in that, but I feel like that could also be a nice spot to mark important dates or big things coming up. I just didn't do that, but that would be a nice place for that. It has a Bible reading plan for the year. I believe it goes through the entire Bible. 3 chapters a day, but it's written out in checkmark form that you can check it off as you do it. It's a great resource to have, even if you don't use it that year. I decided not to use it because I had a plan already that I was going to be doing, but I think that's super cool they put it in there. So then each month has a setup of 3 spreads. So this is the first one for January, then there's the calendar, then this is the last spread for January. So they're all set up the same, pretty much. It starts with personal goals, where you can write in things you want to accomplish, how you're going to do that. And then down here, I use this a lot, is January dates to remember. And then it has the calendar there, so that you can easily reference that and, figure out the days and when this stuff is actually happening. So I would use the personal goals. Usually I would do them for things that I would be praying about anyway, or things in relation to church or Bible studies, that type of thing, not necessarily very personal, more of like to go along with my Bible time, my devotions, but you could do that any way you want. On this other page, this is about Bible study goals then. So this month you can write in what you're going to read from the Bible, maybe a passage you want to memorize, some prayer goals, any of that. I use that mostly for those things I just mentioned. And then here's the whole section you can write in what you're going to pray for this month. And I know as I did it throughout the year, I did it several different ways, and I think I became more efficient in that section as I got more used to this layout. But there's different ways to do it. I used it most of the time. I would fill it in throughout the month. So at the beginning of the month, maybe write in a few things that you know are coming up, or big things or reoccurring things still happening from the previous month. Write those things in, just add to it throughout the whole month as things come up, as people tell me things. I can add to it in that section. And sometimes I would categorize it, like draw lines, make a grid or something, or like friends, family, events, or other times I just make it a straight list. And either way, it's great. So then my favorite part is the calendar. I love it so much, not because it's fancy or anything, but I just found it so neat to be able to like put things on the calendar that I'm going to be praying towards, or something to do with my Bible time, study time, devotion time, any of that. So I did not use this as my schedule, like daily schedule. I just used it for anything I was going to be praying about. So a lot of times I would put in things that my friends were doing on certain days, or doctor's appointments for family, things like that. Anything big happening that I want to pray for. Wasn't like, I have a piano lesson this day. No, it was things that I want to be praying for. And I'm not going to show you a whole lot, but this is what some of the calendars looked like from last year. So I would pick one color, but that's just because that's how I do things. And again, this is definitely something you can DIY, do yourself. You could even buy an actual planner, like monthly calendar, and do it the same way. Just fill it in, maybe write these categories for yourself. But I just love that this is already set up. It's beautiful. It's easy. It's super nice. So write in things that you're going to be praying for that month. Again, when I used it, I just fill it in when I think of things throughout the month as things come up. On the side, it also has a weekly verse, which I originally was planning to make a memory verse, make it a verse I was going to memorize that week. That didn't happen, but I think that's a cool idea, and I might try and do that more consistently this year. I just think that would be super neat. And then it also has a prayer prompt for each day of the week, not the weekends, but each day of the week. And again, I did that some, and I would like to try and do that more consistently this year. But I think that's really neat, and a lot of them are praying for God to work on you, praising God, thanking God for specific things. It's mostly about God and our relationship with Him is what most of the prompts are about. So then getting to the last spread in January, there is a whole section for lessons and blessings. So I would write in key thoughts from what I was doing in my devotions that month. I also I would write in blessings of things other people did for me that month, which was really neat to have a list of that and just see all the ways that God's using people to bless me. It also could be ways God's blessed me that month. There's a lot of things you can write there. Down here at the bottom, it says favorite verses for this month. So I would do that as I go through my devotions, throughout the month, just write in ones that really stick out to me. Over here is the answered prayers section, which is powerful to be able to look back at this. I'm looking forward to going through last year's calendar and just looking at all the ways that God's answered prayers. And and it has a spot for the date so you can list exactly when that happened. And then the last section is what I learned about God in His Word this month. And I think that's a really neat focus. I think it's really neat that they put it in specifically in a prayer calendar book, because we learn a lot about our God from praying and also from reading His Word, and that helps us to pray and approach Him better, like with a fuller understanding of who He is. So I really enjoyed that section. I would add to it throughout the month and write like next to it the verse or passage that I got that from. So that's a little overview of what it includes. Then it just goes on to February, and all of the categories are the same. The pictures are all different, and there's a different color scheme. There's some extra photos. It's just super neat, and it was so helpful for me to just focus me in my prayer time. I like to have an actual list in front of me, and I wasn't doing a good job of that by myself, but having a resource like this just made it so much easier. So I would highly recommend it, but you could also make it yourself with a calendar and writing in these sections. It would be very easy to DIY yourself too. So there's the prayer calendar. So I pray that this little intro to the Daily Grace calendar has encouraged you, maybe given you some new ideas of ways you can organize and keep your prayers in a list compiled and be able to remember those requests that people give you. And as I said in the video several times, you could buy one of these. Daily Grace Company has them right now. I'm going to link it down below. It is a beautiful resource. Or you could make it yourself with the calendar, or just in a random notebook. You could do all of these things that is in this prayer calendar. So I hope this was helpful to you. Let me know in the comments how you pray, if you have any lists or order, how you do it, or if you've used a prayer calendar before. It's really helped me, and I hope you can try it soon.